Some people got a hero to make food. Your hero is your hero. My hero is my hero. Because my hero, yes, I'm my hero. Now 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 my hero, yes, I'm my hero. Yes, they're gonna be so. What about your we are? You got that money, you did. That was a go. See your fancy. Everybody got a hero. Oh God, you know, your hero is your hero. Some people hero to make a market. Some people hero to be up and down in the street. Some people hero to pay the sign of me. I got my hero, his music hero. Oh God, I say, now my hero, yeah, now my hero, now my hero, yeah, now my hero, yeah, now my hero, yeah, now my hero, now my hero, yeah, now my hero, now my hero, yeah, now my hero. Yes, I'm telling you today. Time for the man and my life. Go down, Wasa, Kaira, volleyball, Kaira. Senior Senator, Kaira. Representative Jeremiah Kaira, I say. Oh God, you know. Now my hero, now my hero, now my hero, yeah, now my hero, now my hero, yeah, now my hero, now my hero, yes, now my hero, now my hero, yes, now my hero. Some got a hero to make market. Some got a hero to be up and down. Some hero to save my people. Some people hero to be selling market. All the people hero to be up and down Broad Street. That's my hero. That's my hero. That's my hero. That's my hero. Some people hero to make police. Some people hero to sell their market. Some people hero to up and down. Some people hero to go to school. That a hero, that a hero, that a hero. Hey, God, everybody got a hero here. Look at down Wallace, volleyball. Just go to OJ. OJ guy who no hero. Debere. Ah, got so. Ooh la la! Your era is your era. My era is my era. the hero. Some people here to be having time in the street.
Okay, welcome, guys. Thank you very much. My name is Gibson Jiro. This is Group 106 FM Television. As you know, we've been here before, and then we got so busy, and we are back. And that is what we're going to be doing. Moving forward, we are going to stay here, and we're going to participate in the national discourse of our country. As you know, we just held election and everything is so fresh. People who are rejoicing is still fresh. People who are not rejoicing, who are regretting, who are hurt is still fresh. Fresh wounds, fresh happiness, and everything. But we have a long way to go. We have 6 years to go. And the 6 years that we have will be determined by the way we proceed. How do we hold our leaders' feet to the fire? Now, this is not a political party platform, and you guys know that it's not a political party platform. We might have supported individuals or part or in a presidential candidate in the past, but that doesn't mean that when we come onto this platform, we cannot be journalistically correct, and that is exactly what we're going to be trying to do. We're going to try as much as possible to remain objective, but we will definitely hold people's feet to the fire. And so I want to invite you to this program today. I want you to know that, I mean, as you know, we will be here, and we will not allow ourselves to be carried away by incidents, by circumstances, by individual pleasure, or by somebody telling us what to do. We definitely will not do that. Today we have a very, very important, uh, very moving topics to discuss. As you know, too many things to discuss since we've been away, guys. Too many things to discuss since we've been away. And because there are too many things to discuss while we've been away, we also want to take cognizance. We also want to take cognizance of the moving things, the moving topics that are continuously popping up in our community. Let me just say this one thing for everyone. When a government comes, the government will go. It was then a few years ago, it was Charles Taylor, and then it became Judy Bryant, and then it became Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, it became George Weah, and now going to be uh, JNB. And definitely, people held everybody's feet. We were in Liberia during all those years until after Ellen Johnson Sirleaf took over a few years into her, administration, we came to America. But I can tell you for sure, we have varying topics to discuss today. I am going to look at the topics we're going to be discussing really quick so you know exactly where we are coming from. Trust me, we are not going to we're not going to bend. We're not going to bow to anybody. But let me just read you a few of what we're going to be discussing today. Just three topics we're going to be discussing today. Our general topic is the role to the executive mansion. Now, why did you say the role to the executive mansion? Right now, the president-elect has not taken seat yet. So everything that we are doing now is preparing the role for Jeremiah Koung, Vice President, Joseph N. Boakai, President, to move into the power, into the authority. So Joseph Boakai will be moving into the executive mansion. So that is the road to the executive mansion. But what happened along the way? From the day George Weah conceded defeat, what has happened along the way? What do we expect to happen after JNB is inaugurated on January 15th? I'm told the third Monday in January there should it's going to be an inauguration. So my third Monday, if my calculation is correct, it's going to be January 15th. Okay. So we'll be looking at the three things today very shortly. We're not going to stay too long, but we are going to do justice to these topics. The first one is a look at President-elect Boakai's transitional committee. We're going to look at that committee. We will continue to discuss the committee until the committee time is expired and Joseph Boakai is inaugurated. That committee is dissolved. We'll no longer need to discuss it, except there are some thinking issues that we didn't touch. We're also going to look at the power sharing. Power sharing. When I say power sharing, Joseph Boakai, there were a lot of political parties, a lot of political actors that joined Joseph Boakai in the second round. Now that he has won, so there's a need for power sharing from their perspective. Well, let me just say this. They say winner takes it all, right? In elections, politics, they say winner takes it all. So we're going to look at how Joseph Boakai is going to distribute. What are we hearing now? What are the indications? What are we seeing now? What are the things that are rearing their heads that can be a reason for us to be happy, or a reason for us to be afraid, or a reason for us to be concerned? So power sharing, we're talking about how does Boakai deal with the rush for job from contesting interest. Contesting interest. And why I say contending interest? Why do I say contending interest? I will explain to you what contending interest means. We'll be able to provide enough enlightenment for people. When we say something, we try to explain them, because our people need to understand exactly what we mean. Today, my monologue will be a look at the UP after Boakai with Jeremiah Koung as president. So I'm going to be precise, okay? I'm going to be precise in what we expect. If Jeremiah Koung is president within the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and Joseph Boakai resigns, for example. Now, every time I say that, people say, why you think that Joseph Boakai is going to die? No, that's not about death. It's not always about death. I know we say he's old, he's not well, and all of that. And when he becomes president, we all know as president, you have a lot of money, tons of money that you can use to be able to take care of your health. So we are not expecting Joseph Boakai to die because he was sick yesterday before he became president. The government of Liberia under Joseph Boakai can use all the money they can. They might use all the money they want to take care of his health. So we are aware of that. So, but we're talking about Joseph Boakai after Joseph Boakai, it's possible that the Ome can decide and say, look, you know what? We reach a point, I have to leave. I have to resign. Okay? We may not be all, I will try my best, I will try my best, but I can't reach any further. Therefore, I'm going to tender in my resignation. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Okay? Let me share something here with somebody really quick. Let me share something with somebody really quick, and then I will do this. Let me share with somebody really, really quick. Okay. All right. So if you look very carefully, at the way things are going, there's a possibility that Joseph Boakai can come on 2 years from now and say, look, you know what? I'm too old. I cannot continue. Therefore, I am going to resign and let Jeremiah Koung continue my last 2 years, my last 3 years, my last 4 years, my last 5 years. Or alternatively, the Ome could get sicker and his health will not allow. And the Constitution recognizes that if you have a health condition that cannot permit you to perform, there is a remedy for that. And that remedy is for you to leave or phase out from that position. So in the monologue, let's look at Jeremiah Koung after Joseph Boakai, or in the absence of Joseph Boakai. So right now, let me give you a picture of what things are right now. So there were collaboration between two parties from the beginning. I'm not talking about the collaborating political parties, right? I'm talking about Jeremiah Koung Party, which is the NDR, and the Unity Party. Now that came about when Joseph Boakai decided to pick a vice presidential running mate. All of us, we are aware that promises were made to varying people, different people, including Nyombi Kanga and Costa said his own, and there were other people like Joseph Boakai may have promised that we don't know about, but there were glaring promises that we know that came from Joseph Boakai to Nyombi Kanga. But Joseph Boakai was not going to pay Nyombi Kanga. He knew he was not going to pay Nyombi Kanga after all, but he promised her. He knew he was not going to pay Henry Costa after all, but he promised him anyways. That is what they do. They promise you, and then they leave you somewhere there that you cannot figure out what's going on. Now, according to information that we have, we don't have all of the evidence, but according to the information we have, Prince Johnson was able to negotiate. And this is a story that all of you may have known. Prince Johnson was able to negotiate that Jeremiah Koung become vice presidential running mate to Joseph Boakai. But it was not for nothing. It was not for nothing. Prince Johnson was able to negotiate. Prince Johnson was able to negotiate for Jeremiah Koung with a token of 200,000 United States dollars. To what extent the 200,000 United States dollars is, we are still yet to confirm. But definitely Joseph Boakai is not going to come out and say, Gibson, he gave me $200,000 and that's why I took him as vice presidential running mate. Nobody in the Boakai camp will do that. Nobody in Unity Party will do that. Absolutely nobody will do that. We all know that. Okay? So the thing was, it was very important for Joseph Boakai to make that decision because they were broke. They needed money for campaign. There was nothing they had in the coffers. Why they were broke? Because the family that was feeding Joseph Boakai with money, that Bernard Ure and his children, who were hustling for money everywhere to make sure that Joseph Boakai would survive first, take care of himself at home second, and be able to talk about politics third. They are no longer with Joseph Boakai based on the division, the rift that cut them apart. That rift was deep enough for Bernard Ure and his children to get away from Joseph Boakai, not to raise any money, not to ask anybody for money, not to give Joseph Boakai any money, or to foot any bill for that matter. So Joseph Boakai was left with no option but to look for someone who has the money. Nyombi Kanga was not definitely going to put up the money. We all know that. Okay? And so Nyombi Kanga was not the best choice. So Boakai was able to bring Jeremiah Koung on board as the vice presidential running mate. Now that he is vice presidential elect, what will happen if Jeremiah Koung becomes the president, if Joseph Boakai resigns? Now, before this election, or during the course of the campaign period, we had information that Unity Party was trying at all costs to get Jeremiah Koung to sign up as a Unity partisan, to register as a partisan of Unity Party. Now, how dumb was that going to be for Jeremiah Koung, who was chairing a political party? And he said, you know what? I want you to leave your party and join me. So there was no possibility. Prince Johnson kicked against it. Jeremiah Koung was not comfortable with it, so he didn't do it. So they were only left with the option of goodwill, Jeremiah Koung goodwill. What will happen then if Joseph Boakai resigns today? If Joseph Boakai resigns today and Jeremiah Koung becomes the president. Now let me turn it around the other way around. Let me do it like this before you can understand better. If the government is seated and Joseph Boakai is president, Unity Party becomes the ruling party again. And there's nothing wrong with that. The Liberal Pool made a decision. You and I cannot challenge the Liberal Pool decision. We need to respect that. That is what democracy is all about. Even a group of people who do not understand politics decide that they want to pick somebody who they believe can do it, and we all that think that we know better, we think that the person cannot do it, it doesn't work. The majority takes it. And that is so sad. And that's politics. That's majority rule. We can't fight it. We can't fight it, period. Okay? I'm going to be joined by Akaris Gray very quick, very soon. So I want you guys to, Akaris Gray and Anthony Gay are going to join me shortly. So I just wanted to make sure I announce that. After my monologue, I'm going to be bringing them in. So now, if Unity Party is a ruling party, that means JMB is president because he's from the Unity Party. But if JMB resigns in his first year, or all things held together, JMB was not able to finish his term. And in the third year, and unfortunately, JMB will not continue. You can consider any way you want to consider it, whether about resignation or if God calls him. All of us here, we can die anytime. I always tell my wife, I'm ready to die anytime. I don't care. Anything can happen to me anytime. Because I think people should not be afraid of death. And the reality is there. Then what happened? So Jeremiah Koung becomes the president because the Constitution provides that if the vice president is out of the way, the president is out of the way, the vice president becomes the president. If Jeremiah Koung becomes president, immediately Unity Party ceases to become the ruling party. Immediately, Unity Party ceases to become the ruling party. Jeremiah Koung Party, the NDR, becomes the ruling party. Now, here's what's going to happen. Three things going to happen. And this is what you people should look at very carefully, because these are trouble-breeding things that I'm going to be telling you about. When Jeremiah Koung becomes president, then he has the right, the authority and power per the Constitution to choose his own vice president. If he chooses his own vice president, where do you think he's going to take that from? You think he's going to go to the Unity Party and say, I want one member of the Unity Party to be my vice president? No, obviously no. Don't be fooled. Don't be deceived. Jeremiah Koung will not go to the Unity Party and say, you took me as vice president, now I'm president, so I want you to send somebody from the Unity Party who would be my vice president. No. He would be in the driver's seat. At this time, Jeremiah Koung is going to pick someone whom he is comfortable with, and that person might likely be from the NDR party. So two things have happened already. Jeremiah Koung is president, Unity Party ceases to become the ruling party, NDR becomes ruling party. Number two, Jeremiah Koung will pick someone from his party that he is comfortable with the vice president thing. When you say vice president, you can pick somebody who you're comfortable with, because they're your next president. And some people say, well, the vice president can easily poison the president. We have seen in other histories where the vice president manipulates and mastermind the exiting of the president. And those of you who have been following history, you know these things. In fact, they're in Liberia. Those of you who were born during my time, there were rumors that when Tubman died, it was Tobert who manipulated his death. I don't buy that. I don't buy that, but that was the rumors, right? So now, Jeremiah Koung is president. MDR is ruling party. Jeremiah Koung now has the right to choose the vice president. Strike number three. Now, who are the cabinet ministers? The cabinet ministers that you will see in Joseph Boakai's term when he is president will be approved or selected by Joseph Boakai. No matter whoever recommends, you might recommend to him, but he will have to appoint, he will have to nominate them. It will be Joseph Boakai nominations. So all the cabinet ministers, the director generals, all the people, the managing directors of all the government power structures and agencies, they will be approved. That means the head, the deputy, the assistant ministers, the police director, the Minister of Justice, the Justice Ministry, all the security apparatuses. Now, Jeremiah Koung now is president. You can imagine that the National Security Agency, and we're going to be discussing that very shortly. The National Security Agency, that Prince Johnson won now. Prince Johnson won the National Security Agency now. So he can be the one to nominate the person that will head the National Security Agency, which is the NSA. So to get closer to the presidency, because if Prince Johnson nominates somebody and that person is the security ear of the president, who you think Prince Johnson is? But we'll talk about that later. So now Jeremiah Koung preserved. He now reserves the right to nominate. He reserves the right to nominate all at his wish, all the government ministers, directors, and managing directors, assistant ministers, including all the security agencies. So then what happened to Joseph Boakai nominees? Well, it's not possible that Jeremiah Koung will take everybody out, but there are some interesting ministries and agencies that Jeremiah Koung will definitely have to change. Anybody who is there who is not of his interest. Anyone who is at the defense ministry, Jeremiah Koung will definitely change you. He will put his interest. Unless the person at the defense ministry is his interest or he believes in a person, then he cannot change that. Otherwise, you're going to be changed. About National Security Agency. Why the National Security Agency? Because that's a premier security agency in the Republic of Liberia that deals with the US FBI on information exchange. That agency deals only and reports only to the President of the Republic of Liberia, not the Vice President and the rest of the officials of government. That agency does not get audited by any auditor in Liberia. They are not checked. If they put their budget and they say 10 million, that 10 million, nobody's going to take a dime from that. That's the agency I'm talking about. That's the agency that Prince Johnson wants. Prince Johnson wants the agency that cannot be audited, that is the ear and nose and eyes of the president's security, that it is the closest to the U.S. government in terms of information exchange with the FBI and CIA. I'm talking about an agency that only investigates matters of state pertaining to presidential issues, national security issues, and they only report to the president. That is the agency that Prince Johnson wants. We'll talk about that later. And I will tell you why Prince Johnson may want it. Why he wants that, why he wants it so bad. So strike three, right? The dismissal or the changing of all government ministers and agents of agencies, directors and managing directors, and all assistant ministers. That you should watch for. Now, this thing we are looking at here, it smells. This thing we are looking at, it smells. If you don't know that it smells, wait until 1 year and you will know how smelly this thing we are looking at looks like. This thing we are looking at, it smells. So those of you who believe in Liberia, those of you who want the best of Liberia, those of you who know that Liberia deserves better, we all are in this together. We all are in this together. And because we are in this together, we have to make sure we guard this process. Listen, what do we want? Somebody was telling me the promises, the 90-day promise, the 90-day promises that somebody was telling me, oh, you know, Brother Jerry, you know that Joseph Boakai promised that in 90 days he will be able to make Liberians to enjoy. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? In 90 days? In 90 days? In 90 days. Now, people make bogus promises. A lot of people make bogus promises. And government, because the presidential candidate, because they want to win election, they come to the Liberian people and say, in 90 days, we'll make your life better. Let me just dismiss that right now. Right now. Okay? Let me dismiss that right now. That there's no way, absolutely no way, that we can get a 90-day better Liberia. You know, the reason why is because of factors I'm going to be naming to you. And Arthur Doe is going to be coming as well. Let me see if I can have Arthur Doe to come on. Let me see if I can get Arthur Doe to come on here. Okay. Arthur, just 1 minute, and then okay, we will continue to do this. And for those of you, we will be organizing a permanent partners. So once we get the permanent partners, and everybody who else can be part of the panel, but then we'll have our regular partners, panelists. So let's go back to the topics we're discussing today. Let's go back to the topic we are discussing today. We talked about, I told you about a look at the transitional team. A look at the transitional team. There are three things we're going to be looking at. The road to the executive mansion. We are looking at the possibility, the look of the transitional team and how Joseph Boakai government is going to look like. The transitional team is a window of opening. Okay? It's a window into Joseph Boakai's thinking of people he can use as cabinet ministers. The window into Joseph Boakai's leadership. So the other day, I did a very great analysis of that. If you look at that list, you realize that the 20 individuals, and I want to take this off really quick. I think that list of 20 individuals with 5 women in it, I already feel that the women are too little. I think this is the same marginalization of women in our Liberian leadership, governance, politics. 20 people and 16 or 15 of them are men. I mean, you couldn't even give 8 women or 7 or even 9 women. But this is a pattern of Liberian politics. This is a pattern of Liberian politics. We have said it over and over. We have spoken about this over and over. That the women representation should not be based on percentage. Should not be based on, we do 25% of our cabinet will be women. Why are you even talking about percentage when you're talking about women involvement in politics? There are so many women who are qualified. Okay, at the list I saw, that was put out, there are some people there that I respect. I don't know every one of them on our list. I know some of them by name. I know some of them by individual contact, that we know each other, we talk to each other. Some of them are friends, like someone like Kofi Woods. I know him very well. Reverend Tape, who is the chairman of the Unity Party, is there, and to serve as chairman of the Unity Party, going on our committee should not be any problem. There are other people who are on our committee that I respect. Like Lucini Kamara is on our he's on the committee. Lucini Kamara is from the ACO. He is the presidential candidate for ACO, the All Liberian Coalition Party, founded by Ahaji Kroman. May peace be to his ashes. He's on our committee. But I did see one thing, and I have to say that here. I did see one thing, and I keep saying it. I'm not going to cry about it, but I think almost all of the Liberian tribes are represented on that committee, except people from Nigeria. And I have to say that. People say, but why are you talking about Nigeria? But who should I speak for? Who should I ever speak for? Should I speak for people from Bassa, Grand Bassa? Should I speak for people from Lofa? Should I speak for people from Maryland? And I will always have to speak for people that I believe, I think they need my attention. They need my voice to be spoken on issues. Okay? I also do speak for Nibians. I do speak for my Nibians too. Sometimes, most of the time, Nibians, they got more people who can speak for them. And I speak for the Nigerian because that is where I believe I can speak for at this point in time. How can you form a whole committee? Now, my fear is this. I will say it once today. I will repeat this many times, so people can understand what my fear is. During Joseph Boakai and Ellen Johnson's government, 35 Nigerians were rounded up without charges. They were flunked in jail. Some were tortured in jail. They were maltreated in jail. Some of them almost lost their sights. Some of them, they treated them madly. Some of them stayed in jail for 2 years without anything, without any charges. Now, Joseph Boakai, he was an elderly man in the house, but he did nothing. Everything went on. But somebody will say, but were you expecting him to speak against the president? No. Nobody expects the vice president to go public and say, what you are doing to the Nigerian is bad. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's expect to do that. But as a big man, as an older man in the house, you can tell the president, and when he does, and if he did, Liberian people, information don't lie. We were all going to hear that, oh, Joseph Boakai told, but Ellie didn't listen. We were all going to hear it. So today, our first topic we need to discuss, and I'm going to be bringing on my panelists as they appear. We're going to be looking at the power sharing. We want to discuss the power sharing part of it. So I'm going to bring on my own brother here, Arthur Doe. Hey, Arthur, what's up?
Hey, Jeru, what's up, my man? Long time no talk. Wow.
You know, my man, thank you for coming because I left this thing here almost 2 years, and people already forgot about me, and I'm coming back. So I'm not even expecting anybody here. I'm not even expecting anybody here today, but that's good. But look, man, I got 3 topics, and I want to start with the first one. The power sharing. You know, people are rushing right now. Let me see what I got here. Prince Johnson is demanding 10 positions. I don't know what the other people are demanding, but the major one that he is demanding is the position of the Minister of Justice, the position of the Minister of Defense, the Director General of NSA, the Director General of the Liberian Electricity Corporation, the Commissioner of the Maritime, and the Managing Director of the Liberian Telecommunication Authority. These are all lucrative jobs. Now,
so the man want the whole country.
Well, if I had 20, I'm trying to do justice. I heard 10. My sources gave me 10. But according to Front Page Africa, he is demanding 20 slots. That includes Deputy Managing Director, Assistant Managing Director, and stuff like that. But here is the thing. I'm concerned about 3. The Defense Ministry, the Justice Ministry, and the NSA Director. Are these 3 positions any concern to you?
It is of concern to me. It should be a concern to every Liberian, given the fact that Prince Johnson's background is all about security. He wanted to be the power player, the only power player that would be responsible for the security of the country. From day one, when he took up arms during those days during the war, So it should be a concern to everybody. I don't know what kind of arrangement that was made between Prince Johnson and Boakai per se. But I was listening to your analysis in case of any eventuality, anything happening, that the president proper resigns or
Mhm.
is incapacitated. The vice president takes over,
Right.
the entire thing gonna change because the vice president will be cutting the shot. I don't care what people say. He is the one that will be cutting the shot. So when I read and heard your analysis and the constitutionality of that, given the fact that Prince Johnson wants out of these, it is
Hmm.
the MDRO who is in the ball.
But somebody may
The
argue from Lima.
ball.
Let me be a devil's advocate, and I will go to Anthony shortly. Let me be a devil's advocate a little bit. Somebody from Lima and say, but what is people's problem? Eh? We the one made Joseph Boakai. In fact, if we want even 20 or 30 slots, they should give it to us because we made him a president. What would you say to that?
I don't think I don't think I will be scared, and my relative too gonna be afraid because Liberia is not Nimba County. Liberia is for all the tribes and all of those who dwell in the country. We want security of the country. So when the Nimba folks say, "Oh, but we gave Joseph Boakai the presidency and we deserve it," I don't think it's a good argument, and we should be concerned about that going into this inauguration and thereafter. So we all should continue to discuss this topic. It's very important that we talk about it. We discuss this, because our children needs to enjoy Liberia that is very peaceful. Not all of these halabole going on in the country with respect to what Prince Johnson wants, and all of the nitty gritty, have to be discussed so that we can put the country on a good footing for everybody to enjoy, even the international community or foreign national in the country to enjoy, not people demanding that indeed they want certain sectors of sections of the country. That should
Anthony,
worry us.
Let me bring you in here. The NSA is a national security agency, the Justice Ministry, Defense Ministry. That's okay. Prince Johnson is not going there to sit down as an individual. He only recommended people that he wants to go there. And if they go there, they have the right to say no to Prince Johnson? Why should we be afraid?
Well, you have to look at so many different factors that leads to that. First
Mhm.
and foremost, who is Prince Johnson? What is the background? How did he ascend to the place where he is today? Prince Johnson was a military man who came through the bar of the gun today to be permanent in our Liberian politics for three successful electoral process. Prince Johnson has been the kingmaker. Liking or not, you can, be in a disbelief or in denial, whatever way you can think. Prince Johnson have decided the Liberian electoral process for three consecutive elections. So even with the last election, we saw the results, how it was brought in, and local county was not the determining factor for the Unity Party-led administration or President-elect Joe Boakai to be the president-elect today. It was Nima County votes that really put him over the top. And so for this reason, Prince Johnson has been the kingmaker in our Liberian politics, unfortunately. But we have to, it is what we, in other developed countries, Prince Johnson will not see the daylight in politics in other countries.
Why?
Um,
Why is that?
because the standard, the ethical principles and moral value will be applied. In this case, it is not. So that is the reason why Prince Johnson, is making the headway he's making. In unfortunately in Liberia, it is what it is. Good individuals will not see the data light. An individual with tainted character sees the data light. It is what it is until we reach that level where things will be done the other way around, where competition will be promoted, where competences will be promoted, where integrity and ethical principle and moral value will be promoted. Until we reach that point, it is what it is. We got to accept it what it is for now. So now, So what does it what does that mean? If Prince Johnson submitting? Yeah, I read it from Africa newspaper as well that spoke about 20 names for
Yes.
various ministerial position and
Right.
government agencies. Uh, that is steep, but unfortunately, that is what he's demanding. And I don't think they're gonna give you anything short of half of that or quarter, 3/4 of that. Why? Because he has proven that yes, indeed, he has the political capital, that he gambled all around, and he has proven to be, a kingsmaker, that he can win an election, given the fact that whichever side he goes, there where the election, skill tilt. So today, Prince Johnson has the power, but here's a sticky point: the Unity Party-led administration has to walk a very thin line. What do I mean by that? Prince Johnson is a sanctioned individual by the United States government. I was hired donor, right? They said whoever does business with him, they will cut ties with you. Remember now, prior to this, the 2023 election, Prince Johnson was named the chairman on defense and something committee, right?
Yes.
But the pressure from the U.S. Embassy and the United States government, the State Department, he withdrew his intention of accepting that role, right? Why do you think he did that?
He has not been on any committee.
Yes. Why do you think he did that? He knows what at stake for him. He himself is aware. He himself is aware of what at stake for him. So for his own safety and protection, for his own, peaceful mind, he does not want to be bothered. He withdrew his intention of accepting that role. Is he qualified to uphold that role? Absolutely, yes. He has a military background, right? And he has a security background. You can't take that away from him. He has been a seasoned lawmaker for a very long time. He's the longest serving lawmaker currently at the Liberian legislature. If the 55th legislature takes over, he will be the longest serving lawmaker in our current legislature. So don't take away what the man has able to accomplish over the years. He's the most seasoned lawmaker we have right now. Whether or not you like it, that is the fact. So he has a lot to. Like many folks today who may not speak publicly, who may not say anything in the public sphere, whether writing on Facebook or commenting on Facebook or having a podcast or commenting on a podcast, these individuals are influenced by Prince Johnson. We may only know the Jeremiah Koung, but many folks, whether from Nima County or not Nima County, one way indirectly and directly, are influenced by Prince Johnson.
So let's look at. You raise a very good point. You raise a very good point. The American and Arthur, I'll come to you on that too. You raise a very good point about the U.S. connection. So if Prince Johnson nominated and Joseph Boakai accepted the director of the National Security Agency, what eyes are the American going to look at that director? Are they going to wholeheartedly accepting? Are they going to be suspicious? Are the FBI still going to be exchanging information with him since he is Prince Johnson nominated? Is there any concern there?
There is nothing that happened in this world that America is not aware of, right? So let's take for instance Liberia. Everything that happens in Liberia, America is aware. Now, the only time they strike is when it's in their best interest. And if it's threatening their national security, they will strike. As long as that particular thing you are doing has nothing to do with the national security of the United States, they're not going to strike, right? So they're going to watch the United Party-led administration, Joe Boakai-led administration, to see how he proceed. They're not going to go back on their word. They already took their stand.
Yes,
This first for Russia, and they expanded on that to apply to the rest of the world, right? Now, when that bill was passed, it was passed during Obama time, it came into effect during Trump time. It has everything they want in there to hold corrupt leader accountable. However, it is left with the Boakai-led administration to operate with Prince Johnson in the way that they will not look bad in the eyes of America, or to ignore the Americans and deal with Prince Johnson. They have a lot to think about than you and I.
That
This
is
is a
a
catch
real
22.
slippery ground. That is a real slippery ground. But let me bring Arthur though. I'll come back to you, Anthony. Let me read a comment here, Arthur though, and you can intersplice that with what Anthony is saying. What Anthony is saying, I think we will stay on a little bit on this. Salia Sony says Prince Johnson is the biggest gamble for the UP-led government in waiting. They will be forced to certify him at their own expense. What does that mean, though?
At their own expense. So they will be forced to certify him at their own expense. I think he made a very, very good statement.
That Celia just wrote. He said
Yes.
that
Yes.
the big gamble that they put playing with right there. But
Yes.
because they will be forced to certify him, it will be at their own expense.
Yes. You know, before the elections, right, when the campaign was starting, if you can recall, Boakai said he would dance with the devil.
Yeah,
You know, when people talking.
He said, even if
He
it
said he
takes
would dance with the devil.
me to dance with the devil to win,
Yes.
I will do it. Yeah.
I would do. I would do it. Boakai has danced with the devil, and he is elected as the president now as we speak. Soon he will be inaugurated. It's a big challenge for Boakai because Prince Johnson will be in Boakai face nearly every day. That is what they say, or Jeremiah Koung with Camp Prince Johnson dying, or Boakai with Igno Prince Johnson. It is not something that Boakai going to do. For the fact that Boakai has already danced with Prince Johnson to get what he wants. But one thing we should know too is that Boakai was part of the Bada Johnson Sirleaf government as vice president when Charles Taylor was delivered to the RCC, if you can recall. And Boakai know how rebels are how to deliver people. So I don't know as to whether Prince Johnson will fit that category. But if Prince Johnson continue, if Prince Johnson really push Boakai, I think eventually that will happen. All right. But that Boakai is a challenge, and Prince Johnson is a challenge to the government. Prince Johnson will want everything to push everything that he wants, and get make a very salient point.
There's a parable, Arthur. If you eat the devil's rice, you must dance the devil's dance. It's time to dance. The rest have already been eating.
Yeah, but he would not that you would have Boakai is the president-elect. He would not be dancing to the Prince Johnson's song. He would not. All right. So when he is pushed, that will happen. I know for sure that will happen if the Prince Johnson pushes to want everything. Because those are those things that Prince Johnson wants in that is being announced, being written in the front page Africa newspaper. These are things that we should be concerned about. All right, and it is a problem for the UP government. And your analysis will hold if Boakai resigns. Certain thing going to be happening. So we should worry about that. And all of this national security that we talked about, continuously talked about, America knows everything, every penny, every inch of our national security environment. America knows about it. One is not in America's interest. America will push, and the president-elect or the president at the time will listen. Well, here's the deal, right? We have Boakai coming to power. We have Boakai Sako, and we have the Unity Party Sako. We have the vice president, JKK. He has his own Sako, and he has the MDR Sako. And on the MDR side, there is a godfather who is Prince Johnson. The question is, how does the government that will be headed by Boakai control all of these people? I see trouble. I see trouble. I don't want trouble, but I see trouble. I pray that they should do everything possible
I want you
to
to come
protect
back.
the security of the people.
I thought when you come back, when you say I see trouble, you know, I've got one. I want for Anthony to contribute to that. I see trouble. What trouble? The people already won. Prince Johnson made a president already. So what trouble? Are they going to fight each other? And I want you to look at Joseph Boakai's inner cycle. Are they going to allow Jeremiah Koung to come deeper, or are they going to repulse Jeremiah Koung away from Joseph Boakai for fear that maybe he might do something or something like
that? Is that me?
Yeah, Anthony can take a shot at that. I will come into you. Anthony Kessler.
Take on that.
Let's look at Anthony Kessler. Anthony Kessler has been with Joseph Boakai all along, special assistant, and now he is one of the inner cycle of Boakai. Jacob Kabakoli is an inner cycle. Steve Kuya, all of these guys, they are inner cycle, and John Molu is now an inner cycle. Do you really think that these guys will sit there and allow anything like Jeremiah Koung influence to dominate? Is it possible? If it's not possible, what's going to happen then?
Well, here's the thing with United Party right now that they need to put into put under control before it gets bad. They have yet to even take power. I just saw a post from George Lobo talking about Amara Kone, brought organizational skill, brought systematic skill, and they all work together. Look, Mr. Jeru, the man knows how to seize the moment. We have the saying that says opportunity comes as once, right? Opportunity are for those who make use of it. In the first round, they said they had 97% of the tally sheet in a blue plastic bag. They didn't capitalize on that. At the final analysis, the WIA administration won by some thousand votes, right? Overall. In the second round, here is the man who deliberately chose to go as an independent candidate, knowing fully well he's a Unity Party member. He strategically went as an independent, knowing fully well registering as an independent is expensive and it requires a whole lot of things, but he chose that path for a specific reason. And when he did so, he was not associated with the United Party whatsoever. He cleverly merged with the United Party, endorsed the United Party, and took over. In 3 weeks' time, he created that whole war room and put a team together, and they delivered. Not only that they deliver, he's a senator-elect. A senator-elect who's supposed to take his seat and vet and confirm or deny other presidential nominee is now a strategist on the Boakai transitional team. You talk about playing chess while others are playing checker. Politics is a calculated risk. It is the risk he's willing to take. And it is this risk that will land him 2029. He's looking at a bigger thing. The next place you want to eventualize on or, take a stand on is the Liberian Senate to be the Senate pro tem. Because you're looking at Delon, he's looking at Young Blikanga Lawrence, he's looking at the rest of the other folks and say, okay, I have a shot. I have international connection. I can appeal to the inner being of another man. I've been to MIT. I graduated there. I went to Drexel University. I know my way around. And I came from the grassroots. I sold peanuts to survive in Guinea as a refugee. I taught in refugee schools and became one of the top teachers in Guinea. I grew cattle to survive. I'm the everyday guy person. he has a personal story that resonates with anybody. I know that guy. I met him one-on-one
I
on
think
Woodland.
American is going to make you a
We have
media
a
consultant
10
very
on
soon.
Woodland where we ate roasted beef. Right? So he has that salesman touch. You know, when a salesman catch up with you on the car lot or any other place, let me use the car lot for that for this purpose, right? The salesman has one goal and one goal on it, for you to affix your signature on that car document. That's it. They're not interested in whatsoever story you have, whatsoever problem you have when you walk to that car lot. The first thing first, they get you excited and give you the key and say, that test drive the car. The first thing they want you to test drive, they want to see you, envisioning yourself or, seeing yourself behind that steering wheel, and they will put you on the 95 and say, okay, let's go. Just drive, right? After 5 minutes,
so let me on that
you
note.
start
Okay,
getting comfortable now. You think
I
the
want
car
us to
is
come
yours.
back to. I want us to come back to.
Yeah, no. So the reason why I'm giving this analogy is that there's the United Party that bragged that they had 97% of the talent in their possession. That JMB has won this election and bragged about it, had a press conference just to turn out a runoff was right next door to them. Ha Amara Kone. They moved quickly to put a team together in 3 weeks and presented the result in real time.
That's our topic we're going to be discussing tomorrow. The Emerald Corner scared the election commission.
Yeah.
The Emerald Corner war room, did they in any way sway or control the election commission?
Let there be friend here. We never seen that happening in Liberia before. It never happened before.
Let me
So the point that even some people don't want to
more
they want to compare the Spoon network to CNN. I just laugh, right?
Okay, let me ask a question. I want two of you to respond to that. I want to play the devil's advocate for JMB. And I want you to challenge me why I'm wrong. JMB is his own man. He's not going to let Prince Johnson bully him. He has people that he trusted around him. He's not going to let Prince Johnson to railroad him. He's going to appoint people based on who he thinks will deliver in his government. How do you think I'm wrong about that? I mean, after you can come in,
Well, yes. JMB is his own man. Definitely, he's a guy who is very judgmental. He worked with a government as vice president for 12 years, and he headed the party. And in the 2017 elections, he lose, and he made some decisive decisions to keep the party at bay. The fact that JMB will be president, yes, indeed, he is his own man. He can make his own decision. However, JMB rely on a lot of people. He has his own circle. That's why I said earlier that JMB has his own circle, and the United Party has her own circle as well. But JMB will be depending on his guys around him, and who have been around him for some time, to come to making these decisions that will affect the country. A Prince Johnson issue will come in. Prince Johnson issue will come in. And the fact that Prince Johnson issue.
Okay, let me go to Arthur.
I think somebody calling him. He had to read himself real quick. Somebody knocking on his door.
Yeah. So, Anthony, I want you to go deeper into it because we have to look at the other side of it. We might be thinking that Prince Johnson will control everything. In fact, the demand that he's making now will tell us whether he has a sway over Joseph Boakai and the United Party, or that Joseph Boakai can make his own decision and can say
I thought you can take a video off so you can hear the audio. If you're not ready.
Yeah, I can just take him. Okay, he's ready, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So the fact that this list that he is putting forward, these demands he's putting forward, these amount of ministry. Now, imagine, it's very interesting. I never see one person ever in my entire life that says, Nima County, all the local positions that are in Nima County I should be the one to select the people who will serve on this position. Will Joseph Boakai even listen to that? How can Joseph Boakai give him 10, 20 positions, while there are other conglomeration of interest groups or alliances that he has with other parties? Is it possible? Can Joseph Boakai stand on his own, or will Prince Johnson railroad the process?
Well, that is yet to be determined, right? I'm not going to sit here and speculate, the mind of President-elect Joseph Boakai to suggest, that he's going to do this, not going to do this. But yes, what the Liberian people are going to judge him by, yes, what the international community are going to look at him by, is his decision making, is how he go about doing these things and all the different things. And I think I shared something in the Grand Judah group chat, and also in the another group chat about rescuing Liberia. Is not just winning an election.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you win an election, that does not necessarily mean the country is rescued. You have to do certain things with consistency that will deliver for you to be considered, for the country to be considered rescue. And we'll discuss that in detail as they go back. So, but yes, what he needs to do for people to take him very seriously is that he can give Prince Johnson some of the things he's asking for, but not all of it. He has to be very careful not to do too much for Prince Johnson and aggravate the other side. He has to work the fine line. Like I said, JMP have a tough decision to make as to how he proceed with Prince Johnson. He was there when Prince Johnson supported Madame Salih, but Madame Salih cleverly, played that role with Prince Johnson, and he was far away from her leadership. That doesn't mean that she did not give him some job. Some job was given, but the level at which Prince Johnson is operating now, it is not the same level he operated at with President Weah or Madame Salih. Currently, Prince Johnson wants to be the one caught in the shop. The only person that can overshadow that a little bit now is Amarakone. Prior to Amarakone joining them, Prince Johnson was the one caught in the shop. Who had now Jeremiah Koung as JB running? That was Prince Johnson.
Yeah, he did.
Who came out and denigrate Nyamdi Ganga Lauren? That was Prince Johnson. Did you see any statement from the United Party denouncing what he said? According to them, they asking to apologize. That was not enough.
And where did he apologize? There's no record of it.
But there is no record of it. We don't know whether or not they asked him. But yet we did see that he apologized. Right?
What sense does it make, even Anthony, you go publicly and denigrate a female, especially someone who's going to be a vice presidential candidate, denigrate the president, say all kinds of stuff about the president, then they say go apologize, then you go behind your house and say, I'm sorry, yeah? You already done the damage.
But Mr. Jeru, this is the reason why we will continue to be in the situation we are in as a nation, because of the way we do business. Until we change this way we do business, we will always get this kind of thing. Individual deliberately come out, do things, and say, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you'll be sorry, right? But in other countries, you will pay the political price.
Yeah.
In Liberia, we reward people like that. That is the thing. That is the difference. Hey, Anthony Weiner from the state of New York, a promising Democrat, a representative, has no job today. Today, the wife gone. Beautiful wife. Beautiful, well-educated woman. Gone. Why? Because of his behavior, right? Because of receiving a teenager nude pictures. You understand?
Some people can be really crazy.
But look at what has
Let me read some comments that come to you, Anthony. On the show, we got our commentators like to be heard. We are working on being live in Liberia. We're just coming back, so we're trying to reestablish our contact in Monrovia.
Yeah, we're ready to be live in Liberia.
Yes, I'll be live in Liberia. So let me read some the commentators. They
on
really
the
like
radio
to be
too.
heard
Not
as
internet.
well,
We need to
because
be on the radio.
Say what?
I said we need to be on the radio, not on the internet, because that's
You'll be on the radio. You'll be definitely on the radio. This one is coming from Celia Soni. Say the presidency was bought by Koung. I'm not praying for anything bad against the president-elect, But how long can he go with the politics of Liberia and his pacemaker? That's a very great question. Belsheba, Vicky, we are saying, and also Prince Johnson wants the free port. Yeah, I let that off.
Yeah, he wants
all
to
the lucrative area. Nobody in Liberia that's okay taking it. Lucrative area. Only Prince Johnson wants it. And Anthony wrote a comment before coming on and said they just wanted to win, but didn't consider those things and the things he's talking about. He's been discussing them. Prince Double said, "Do you respect Conan?" No, I mean, Lucini Kamara. I don't know if Conan, but talking about Lucini Kamara. Celia Sonny said, "Prince Johnson is the biggest gamble for the UP-led government in Witten. They will be forced to certify him at their own expense." And Uriah Song said, "Remember, when Prince Johnson can decide the election that brings JMB to power, knowing that Prince Johnson brought in JKK as a VP, those two big top will in no way let Prince Johnson interest. PYJ will definitely control this unity party-led government." That's a strong statement.
He would not control.
We're looking at very careful, because when the political intricacies begin to play, and then what I see here is a big fight, and I see Prince Johnson being frustrated and backing out of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I may be wrong.
Yeah.
So there's the two things Boakai will have to do to safeguard himself. One, cut tie with the MDR and turn Prince Johnson over to the big Papa. Man, I don't see you already.
No, he cannot. He can't cut that.
Not too early.
To allow his government to crumble. Both of them are so extreme. I don't know. We're going to talk about that.
Nah, I'm not going to wait for that. That's too extreme.
Laughing out loud. The Broom State versus ABC new show. All right. Sally Sony said, "No, he didn't. President Weah is just a very peaceful man and love his country he meant." And he said, "Don't go far, Anthony. George Santos is facing prop."
Oh yeah, the dude you fly.
Yeah, I know. But look, this comment here. These two alternatives. Cut ties with MDR and Prince Johnson turn him over to Big Papa. Is that a possibility? Any of you?
Yeah, well, here's the situation, right? Prince Johnson, Boakai can cut ties with MDR because the chairperson of the MDR is JKK, and JKK is the vice president now. Boakai can cut ties with Prince Johnson, but not the MDR. Oh my God, not the MDR. The father of the matter. This man.
But man, they're fool. You just say a fool down. Okay, he left. When he come out, but Anthony,
yeah,
let's look at the two extremes. Cut ties with Prince Johnson and turn him over to Big Papa, meaning turn him over to the war crime court. I think that's what he meant. Or be with Prince Johnson and the U.S. government is going to ostracize you.
Look,
are these not too extreme?
Mr. Jeru, let us be honest here. The first 6 months to a year for the Boakai administration, it will be a serious challenge, financial challenge, international relations, rebuilding, all the different things. That's a lot. Look, when people it is good. Don't get me wrong. I campaigned against George Weah. I wanted my candidate to win, right? But when I see the Unity Party people up to this time still in the campaign mode, coming after all, we are so pitiful, we are bitter, we lost the election. Look at me. Do I look at somebody who's bitter?
Bob Cleggy.
I did that way behind me. Look. I was 9 years old when I started joining my dad to listen to BBC News, focus on Africa. I was 9 years old. When I was in Africa, when they say journal, that is news time 8 p.m. Everybody used to run away from the television said, and I would sit there and listen. You know, that's one of the things that made, help me to improve my French, because I used to listen to RFI, Radio France International, RTI, Radio Television Ivoirienne. I used to do all of that just so I have a better understanding of the language, right? And also I'll be informed. So politics.
Saturday, I want us to discuss comments.
We're definitely going to get there. That's why I'm here.
Saturday, we'll discuss coming in conjunction with all the political intricacies. That will be one of our topics. We'll spend almost like 45 minutes to 1 hour on it. The story of Cummings can bring a lot of enlightenment, and it can teach our mind to go back. Do we really make decisions based on reality, on informed information or facts, or do we make decisions based on impulse? Because somebody tells us this man is bad, so this man is bad, and how all of these politics are taking over. I'll come back to you. Let me go to Arthur. He was speaking earlier. Prince Double is also speaking here. And guys, keep bringing the comment because we interspice our comments with our commentary. Prince Double says, those guys around Prince Johnson will force Boakai to turn PYJ over. Those guys against, I think it meant Boakai. Those guys around Boakai will force Boakai to turn Prince Johnson over to the International Criminal Court. Ellen Johnson Salif can relate. So, I mean, I don't see the possibility where Joseph Boakai will risk all the security intricacies and say, today we're going to start a war crime. In fact, can he do it?
When Charles Taylor was being arraigned for pickup, Charles Taylor had the whole country in his favor. He had his men. But when that time reached, Charles Taylor was delivered. Prince Johnson's situation will not be different from that. All right? The fact of the matter here is Prince Johnson is now in the news. So everything is unveiling. And Prince Johnson wants those positions that are very, very the security environment, so that he can control the environment, those top areas in the government. So they say where there is smoke, there is fire. When all of these things are just popping up in the newspaper, there is the time for us to continue to discuss this and bring it up every time now and then. We'll bring it up in our discussions when we are on the radio online. The fact of the matter here is there is a history of certain individual who wants to see himself in the limelight of our country continuously, and he wanted to push his colleague, I would say, who he danced with, so that he can get certain things done. And now it is all in the open, in the newspaper, a leading newspaper too, that indeed he wants this position. So these are things we're supposed to be discussing, and we are discussing them now. The time going to come where Jeremiah Koung will have no other alternative. The time going to come where Prince Johnson will be arraigned. I am saying this because Liberia talks about TRC, and president come and go. They say, oh, we are comfortable with the situation. We are people. President George, we have said it. We are peaceful nation and this and that. But he saw the result, and we thank God that he conceded to the results of the elections. But Prince Johnson is a factor in our electoral process, and we respect him as a senator, as Gay said, a long-term senator, and he is a power player. If Boakai must really succeed, and all the things that we are hearing and we are reading in newspapers, Prince Johnson will push Boakai. Boakai will have to come to a place where he has to make a decision if he wants to leave. And if Jeremiah Koung wants to take over, Jeremiah Koung wants to be president too. He doesn't want to be vice president. All right, he wants to be president because we're talking about American who is setting the stage now for himself. All of this, the things that Gay talked about, American know how to tell his story. So Jeremiah Koung too wants to be president. I don't think he wants to say that. So the fact of the matter here is we have elections. Elections are over. The government has not been seated here. We are seeing and reading everything in the newspaper about Prince Johnson wants these positions. There is a reason which, if you want
let me ask this question. And Anthony, I don't know why you're here laying one side, but you twisted. Anthony, face your. I don't know if you're frozen or what.
Probably.
Yeah, you twisted. But after let's come. Let look at a question that anybody could ask. And some of the question we are asking it because other people out there are the one that are actually asking these questions because they can't have the kind of platform like this to be able to come and discuss these things and ask this question. Let me ask you the question. It said, do we feel or could anybody get a reason to fear that Prince Johnson proximity to Joseph Boakai will be a danger to Joseph Boakai?
I don't want to circumspect. I don't want to do that. Prince Johnson began with Joseph Boakai.
You respond to the question. The question is, I'm sorry, though, Mr. Doe. The question is, after Mr. Doe speak, I want you to speak to that. Prince Johnson proximity to Joseph Boakai. Should anybody in the Unity Party close to Joseph Boakai at all be worried that there may be danger? That's what Mr. Doe is speaking to. Go ahead, Mr. Doe.
Probably they shouldn't be worried because they were on the campaign trail for months. And Joseph Boakai and Prince Johnson, they were sitting by each other on all of the platforms. They were the high power delegation. They drove in their convoys and on highways and dangerous areas. If Prince Johnson wanted to eliminate Joe Boakai, he would have done so. But the fact of the matter here is Prince Johnson and Joseph Boakai, they would dance together. The guys who are around Joseph Boakai, they are also concerned. They are not stupid people. They are concerned. So they will do everything possible to try to protect their interests, protect Boakai's interests, protect the country's interests as much as possible. They will do. So they are not afraid. I don't want to believe that since Prince Johnson will be closer to Boakai, they will be afraid. Boakai is a guy who's going to be making decisive decisions. All right? And the guys that are around him are going to be advising him at all times. Prince Johnson can come, they will sit down and discuss. But the Prince Johnson and the Boakai factor, they already built that during the campaign season. And now Boakai is going to be president. So campaign is different. So when Prince Johnson be walking, executive marshal in Boakai office just like that, my brother, it will not happen. So he got to go through something. And I think I can say that.
But the other thing is, Prince Johnson could go to the mansion, and I'm coming to you, Anthony. Prince Johnson could go to the mansion, and those guys can give you a run around and say, Papa, right now, he don't want to see you. And maybe having one or two.
Oh, they will do it. They will do it. Gibson, they will do it. They will do it. They will do it, and you will get mad.
Yes.
They will do it, and you will get mad. And when it continues, there where you will see the marginalization of Prince Johnson from Boakai. It will be visible down. It will be the topic for Liberian, for us. And they will do it.
The Boakai care, no, because you're not going to go for second term. Does he care whether Prince Johnson is mad or not mad?
No. He will not care. When that time reaches, he will not care. There where you will see certain changes that will be going on in the country, certain discussions will be going on in the country with respect to this TRC thing and this America coming in now, because the interest of America now will be like, or we see the democracy that we talked about is swaying away. You're getting too closer to Prince Johnson. And Prince Johnson did well too for Liberia when you were in the Senate, where America placed that sanction on him. And he was chairman of defense because of his background. What did he do? He said,
he had no choice. He didn't do what?
He had no choice, but he had choice.
I don't know.
No. He had choice. He had choice.
But Anthony,
the man had choice. The man, he had choice. He chose. He had choice. He chose to go away to make this appearance that he is today. The guy who is the playmaker that every Liberian is talking about. You know, because he left and came back, and now he is closer to power. You see? So he had.
Mr. Doe, you wondering whether you from Nima, from Grand Jeda, or from Sano, or from they just told you just after door the poor people. I'm like you man. I'm like Kramer. I'm like
No. Let me disclose myself.
Go ahead.
My name is Afro. I went somewhere general and said, "My man, oh, they gotta get two president. They gotta get two president last day." My name is Ato Wiado, and I was born in Habel Firestone, a parent from Grand Jide and Sando County, Grand Jide and Sando County.
Okay.
My mother actually.
I was just interested because I would love to have you as Ato Do and let people just start guessing.
But my mother lived poor life. She lived in Riverside County, so she is more aligned with the Riverside belt than the Grand Jide. Yeah, absolutely. Well, my sister now, who is a nurse, she is in Grand Jide. She is working at the Matter Topman Hospital.
Okay.
I know my mother there.
Go back to Anthony.
But I'm a cool man.
Yeah. Okay. No, Nadio. Anthony, do we have any reason to fear? Do the people around Joseph Boakai, his inner cycle, his security details, do they have any reason to fear if Prince Johnson is coming closer and closer to Joseph Boakai? Is there any reason to fear? Or
there's a reason Prince Johnson has a hatred of slaughtering two presidents. I mean,
the men are pastor now. The men are pastor.
According to Prince Johnson's own testimony, don't take it from me. You can go on YouTube and find it, right? Prince Johnson's own testimony, they were part of the assassination of Thomas Sangara, right? They were part of that plot that eliminated Thomas Sangara. Don't take my word for it. YouTube, own testimony, right? Prince Johnson also is the one on camera, cutting out sitting president yet. So that's not me. Don't take it from me, right? Has he gone through any kind of, traumatic situation or whatnot? We don't know. We don't have a clinical record, right? So
I think Prince Johnson, amongst all of the warring factions, I'm sorry for the interruption, among all of the warring faction leaders, Prince Johnson is the only person that I know that have been de-traumatized. For the fact that he went to Nigeria, he was under house arrest, and he had all of those who supposed to de-traumatize him. And he had a psychiatrist, he had a psychologist, he had everybody around him in Nigeria. When during the 1992, when they whisked him from Cornwall, a lot of them were in the border of the
but he doesn't act like it though, because I see him jobbing one time straight, and next thing is I got fired, man, on the standby. But listen,
that little piece of history for him.
Yeah. Let me say this, right? I don't have anything personal against Prince Johnson. I do not, right?
Let me end with this. Johnson is in politics, Anthony.
Yeah.
Prince Johnson is in politics. He is playing a major role in the political dispensation of.
And that's what I'm about to speak to, Mr. Jeru.
Yes, go ahead.
For someone of my caliber, right? I was born in the 80s. Barely knew Liberia, and then Liberia got destroyed. When I was getting to know myself as a teenage person coming up, that's when the war started. And then we'll have to leave the country by force. Rather than enjoy my childhood in Liberia, I grew up in the Africa Coast, right? Then when I became an adult, I was supposed to make decisions for myself. Here come the same man who made me to run from my own country. It's not determining. When they brought about what? The dual citizenship bill. Who they were talking about it? Now Prince Johnson now decided all those restrictions that they put in that dual citizenship bill. Prince Johnson is part of it, right? He's not the only person in the Darius deal on the rest of the other people part of it. But these are people now who made us to run into exile when we were kids. Now we are adults. They are still making decisions for us. We don't have a voice. You understand? So for me, whoever the war crime code leads to, any other person, whatever the case may be, right? They should have an opportunity to go there and defend themselves. Many of them are dying, Mr. Jeru. Many of them are dying. And my thing is, it will only be fair if those people are given an opportunity to defend themselves. And if the law holds them, the law holds them. If the law exonerates them, the law exonerates them. Right? But what example are we setting? Right now in Liberia, people who do horrible things are the one that people celebrate. People who didn't do anything are the one people vilify. The case of Mr. Cummings. What has Mr. Cummings done to any Liberian personally? What has he done? But you will see people will come and vilify this man, call him name, denigrate him, insult him, call him organized. This man worked hard for his money. You are not in the diaspora. You know how it is to even become a manager, let alone a director or area VP, to ascend to that level. But what does he get? When politicians go back to Liberia, the whole airport can be filled with people. Our brother get left from here and flew across Atlanta with a 1 inch flight. How many people he saw to the airport celebrating him? This is a hero. He made history. You don't find many people. I saw somebody post that.
No, they're not interested.
I saw somebody had a post on Facebook. But what it meant trying to push that you go do that kind of thing. Right? Are you serious?
Okay, let me read some of our comments. And guys, if you write your comments, if you're responsible, we'll read your comment. If you insult anybody, we'll jump over your comment. As you know, this page, we make the commentators to also be part of our discussion. Let me go straight here. Right for Prince Double say, Cummings disappeared in Atlanta now, laughing out loud. And he said, exactly, Arthur, the international community will go right in there and picking up. He's talking about Prince Johnson. With all the men Taylor had, he was picked up right in front of all of the men. And Joseph Nina said, PYJ is a snake in our body politics. Old man Joe Boakai is a very tricky Sierra Leonean. Bobo, he will give Prince Johnson a technical knockout, TKO, as he did to Heron P. Costa. Jefferson Francis Colaco Jr. says, y'all just be hurting your head for a war crime code. What does that mean? What does that mean? I can imagine, I can just go right into his head to say that Joseph Boakai not going to bother about the war crime code. It's not going to happen. Celia Sonny said, Arthur, he did nothing, brother. He had no choice but to chicken out. Do you think the American the American was begging him to resign? It was a direct code to him. And Celia continued. He continued and says, which organization de-traumatized you? After all, you need to come back and
I'm telling you, man,
how did he get traumatized and which organization de-traumatized him? Let me read this comment coming from Louis. Delay Louis. He said, hope you ate something before coming here. Anthony, I think I'm talking to you. And this was coming from Prince Double saying, Cummings was passing all around America, putting sanction on others.
Not mind that speculation. You had no proof of that.
Expect us to glorify Cummings? Hell no. And Silas only said, Mr. Jeru, don't worry about the long school graduates. They only know how to insult. Let them stay here and learn. Absolutely. I mean, if you come here, Jeremiah, no, this is the only platform that will read your comments and you will be part of the discussion. I'm promising you that. I'm not going to let you, but here are the things I'm going to wait for a panelist. They will be here. We're going to be looking at, I want to answer this question. Prince Johnson is and that is an extension based on the discussion. Let me bring my man here. That's a discussion based on the extension of our current topic we are discussing. Prince Johnson is a kingmaker in Nima County. Okay. Even though Nima has the vote, but Nimbayans respect Prince Johnson for what he is and who he is. Okay, whatever he has done for them. But let me give Grand Jile for example. We also have warlords in Grand Jile. We have Thomas Yaya there. He was a leader of the Model. We have George Bully, who was leader of the LPC. Why are they not commanding the kind of respect that Prince Johnson has in Nimba? What's wrong with that? Is it about them or about Grangians' ingratitude, or they don't just care? Why are they not commanding the kind of respect that Prince Johnson has?
Unfortunately, Mr. Jerry, I will say this. It may sound funny, but it is the truth. We don't want to unite Crown people. Only one thing. If you threaten the safety and stability of Crown people, every Crown section will come together and boot you out. You talk about war, there is no division will come among Crown people.
Oh, my man.
No, I mean, you're a Crown man.
Talking to be mad with you.
I'm telling you. Two things we're good at. We are very hospitable. We're very forgiving. We like people, right? But things that will bring us together to build ourselves, to enjoy, we will not do it. But when one person touch one Crown person told, the Crown man will do everything to make sure that person is accounted for or pay the price. But why can we not use that same energy to unite ourselves? Typical example, look at the Grand Jile Association in America. The biggest Liberian-based organization in America. We got more members, we have more chapters than ULA in America. We have more chapters. Don't get me wrong. We have set history that ULA have not set. You understand? It is because of our unity as a unit in this country that other organizations started mimicking after what we've done. Today, you name the one from Nima County now is doing some of the things we used to do, right? But I don't know, because we have the dialect can be spoken 16 different ways, and that little click in between all who is the best in the county kind of thing, it has been hammer up. The Basoden, they vote together, they do everything together. You always hear about the Basso Bell. Whether Basso Bell in Grand Basso County or Basso Bell Farm in different counties, they all vote the same way, right? For the common interest. We the Crown people don't do it. This is the first time that Crown people keep together and say, you know what? Enough is enough. Thomas Yaya Nima received 18,000 votes, the highest vote by any lawmaker in our county. The first time. Did you see him campaigning? He didn't campaign. He did not campaign at all.
So what changed? You know, Abigail is agreeing with you that Grangians only come together in times of crisis or war, like you said. What changed? What changed? Do they recognize now that
I think they have recognized that it is in our best interest to work together than to divide ourselves. The first thing, 2020, I was supporting Yaya, and the Fred Grant, other people were supporting William Yanu, right? So these two individuals from the diaspora, these two individual members of the GGAA, one of them served as the president, one of them was, a very strong member here, right? Even Mr. Yaya contested the presidency at one point in his life here. So, but what happened? We were divided. And we did not win. And then credit to Honorable Collins, who came up with an idea that we should form a pilot project, we should form a group and start a pilot project to pick one candidate that we all can vet and say we'll have a consensus on, and say, okay, this candidate is the candidate we're going to support and throw our weight behind that person. And then when the by-election came out, we tested that pilot project with Ira Madison Guillaume. And that pilot project was successful. That's how Honorable Ira Madison Guillaume became representative. Mind you, he was a founding member of CDC at the time, but CDC did not pick him. They picked Jeremiah Koung. And he was going as an independent candidate at the time. And then we reached out to him and said, we are this group, so and so, but we decided that we want to fund your campaign, we want to help you, we want to do X, Y, and Z. We are from the diaspora. Yeah, our condition, whatnot. And he accepted it. Guess what? We challenged CDC in Grand Judea and defeated them. So CDC realized that and begged him and said, come back to your party. That's how he went back to this party. So what lesson we learned that was we can do greater things when we work together.
But Anthony, I want you to go further than this. Solar Sonny doesn't agree with you quite well. He said that's true, but then he said it's the inferiority complex that we Grangians that is doing us. We are inferior, and our inferiority complex is the one that's hurting us.
Mr. Jerry, I would respectfully disagree with his inferiority. What do you mean by we are inferior? First and foremost, that is not true, right? Now that is an insult to us, right? Don't say that. I'm sitting here and sugarcoat things, right? We are not inferior. Yano was as competent as Yaya. Well, learned individual who have worked in this country in top position. Yano is not an ordinary man in Chicago. Mr. Thomas Yaya Neiman was a director in his position before leaving here. I mean, these are two words. This man is a clinical psychologist, right? He has a clinical license. He's a licensed practitioner in this country, in New York, of all places. I mean, come on. Mr. Yano also is a civil engineer here in Chicago, in the Midwest. What are you talking about? What are you feeling anything that there? But here's the thing. We did not work together.
I can't wrap my head around it. And after you speak to that, I will let Dodo speak to that. I can't wrap my head. They put George Bullock into the house. He spent one term and they kick him out. It says he's doing, or it says that the people they just not trust our warlords. I mean, being a warlord is not.
No. Forget. So, like I said this, right? Let call a spade a spade. I personally didn't like the role Representative Bullock was playing as a representative. He was nowhere to be found. Yaka Kolubada stealing the spotlight. He was there. This man served as Minister of Education under those administrations.
The longest serving minister in those administrations.
This man holds a doctorate degree. He's not an inferior person. He's not. I mean, he's welcome. Listen, forget about warlord. What does he bring to the table? So how can you be there and neglect your function and nobody sees you? You won't collect salary. And who wants you to go back? Look, this new batch of individuals coming out of Grand Judea County to represent us with Honorable Thomas Yaya Nimle, Honorable Marie Johnson, and Honorable Jacob DB, joining Honorable Guyon, who is already there. We only need to replace one more person. Grand Judea County is set. That is Senator Zopenu. Then we all set. Because, look, Mr. Jeru, if these individuals who are just named go to that legislature and don't perform, who will replace them? But I think Grand Judea County and another record have been set, right? We have never had a female legislature from our county. This is the first of its kind. And this is the first time she ever participated in the electoral process in our country. And she won, and she came from the diaspora. She broke a barrier. She made history. Okay? And so we are only hoping for the best. First and foremost, that caucus has to function. It's not a divisiveness we're looking for. We want a collaboration or oneness, consensus building, compromise when necessary. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for individuals just to occupy a space. Okay, so let me go to Mr. Doe. Mr. Doe, I will twist the question a little bit. The question previously was, Prince Johnson is a warlord. Fine. But he is an opinion leader in Nima County. He is highly respected by Nima. And he has become a kingmaker for a little time now.
But Grand Jide have even more than the warlords that you think about in Nima. They have more. They got Prince Johnson. I mean, they got Yaya Jame, Yaya Nimle, and they have
Yeah.
George Bullet. And these are all two heads of two warring factions. But they don't have as much command over the Grangidians. I mean, Yaya can come out tomorrow and say, I will deliver Grand Jide to any political party. Or George Bullet cannot come out today and say, I will, once you join us, when we join you, I can deliver Grand Jide to you. It's not like that. It's about the law, the warlords themselves, or it's about the Grangidians themselves. They don't believe in.
I think I know I know where you're coming from. I think is left with the storytelling of Grangidians. Grangidians have warriors like Prince Johnson, but Prince Johnson tells his story to look in his people's eyes and tell his story and tell the people's story, as compared to Grangidians who have the warlords and they are fighting one another. Prince Johnson is a hero in his time. He is considered a hero in Niba. Grangidian would not, a Grangidian who fought war like Thomas Yaya would not be considered a hero, because there are certain people who are against Thomas Yaya, the like of Thomas Yaya, the George Buddha, whatsoever. They fight each other. That is the problem. There is no unified force in Grangidian. And as compared to Prince Johnson, who has his people, he tells the story. He dumbbell with his people. He said to the people that he gave back. He visited his people at all times, mingle himself with his people. That's why the father he is senator. He doesn't sit in Moria like other people, or you go back home and just sit in your little town. There is no unity within Grangidian. All right. The fact of the matter here is these guys just see themselves. They get one position. Once they get a position, they say, "Oh, we are okay. We can go back to the people, sit down with the people, talk with the people." I mean, the people ask the people their questions, ask them questions, tell their story, listen to their story, respond to the stories. But when you see money start flying around in the national legislature for county, it's all the superintendent, not the superintendent, but the legislator, woo, like a bird. They just fly out. They still receiving money, but they fly and just mismanage everything. Don't give it to the people. For Prince Johnson, he has his university. He engaged in his personal project. He mingled with people. But how many, with all of the things that we are saying here, how many Grangidians who had the opportunity to be in the national legislature, to be working for government, even those that in the southeastern region with all of our BB degrees, how many of us are focusing in developing the southeastern region? Zero, I would say. All right. So if you compare Prince Johnson,
the other day, let me just tell you something. The other day I went to Zwedru, and I'm on my way again. I might reach to Zwedru. I don't see any functional office.
Are you a see functional office, my brother?
They show me one small place there painted with green and white, and they say that's open office.
They will not have a good functional office in the county right now, Era Madison Guion, and we set up our office.
Okay, so maybe I left before that time, but I look and say, but the office is closed and nobody in there. There's no functioning program, no functioning activity. So the offices are only open when you guys go. Then a group of people come, then they call rice, they call cow, they call the kid goat, and then they say they are.
And one thing I like about Grangidians in the diaspora, they support their county. I can recall when Timon Collins was representing, when you were representing Grangida County in the House. All right.
Oh yeah, when you were representing, yeah.
Yeah, Grangidians took all personal responsibility. They were not depending on government to pay their roads, to do things on their own. They were not depending on government. I can still recall. I used to work at the Capitol Building at the time. They take a huge project themselves. They were not depending on government. But all of a sudden, you see all the other folks that is coming. It is all about themselves. Like you're saying, no single office that will show that representation of Grandidians in the national legislature. At least you go home, you say, oh, you go into this senator office or you go into this representative office. We here in the United States, we see them.
We have
Our
no presence.
representative.
I have said that on numerous occasions. We have no presence at the
You see,
national
so
legislature.
if you are a senator or a representative and you don't behave yourself, the people will kick you out. You have to be with the people. You have to eat with the people.
So what becomes?
That's
Okay,
a big difference.
I don't want to derail the topic, but okay, let me just give a brochure for those of you who are joining us. We left after 2 years. We are back, and we hope to stay for a
From
long.
2 years, man, you ready to save on hour?
Oh yeah, I'm left for a long time. I stopped coming here since 2021.
Yeah.
So I've been here away here for a long time.
As you was born, you ready to
Our
grind you?
broadcast time, you know now, our broadcast time is also conflicting with closing argument with spoon talk.
Yeah, we need to adjust the time. I don't come before then, we'll come
So
after that.
I mean, as we go along, we're definitely going to get traction. But there are people, you know, who know their platform already. When they coming on, they're ready to get there, and we are just coming. It's like, oh, you know what? Let me just go to spoon and stay there, or let me just go to closing argument.
What we have to do, we'll have the adults start before them or do it after them.
We either start before then. I mean, I'm always good to start around 12, and that way we can broadcast in Liberia in the day. Yeah, I don't want to go too late in the night, and it becomes, you know, it's difficult for the radio station. Yeah, so we'll try to be here, and we'll continue to have panelists here and there. But let me say the last issue I want to discuss here before we leave has to do with the coming legislature. Let's forecast the coming legislature. We'll discuss that another time. But what do we see? We'll discuss the speakership, the pro tem and stuff. But do we see a legislature that will be sympathetic to JMB, or a legislature that will be radical and will seek to make changes? More of a challenging JMB. Which one do you see, each of you?
Although I see a legislature that will be robust in terms of getting serious with the people's business. Because if you can recall, every time we had elections, there are a new batch of people coming in. And you know, if those who are coming in new, if you play lazy and don't do the right thing for the people, represent the people, I don't think you have any reason to go back to them to say, oh, re-elect me. So I see a robust legislature who will put the people's business on their agenda, and I see a legislature who will work in the interest of the people and work closely with anything that has to do with the people's interest with the executive, so that the people's business can be addressed. That's the kind of legislature I see. But on the other side, I see a lot of other legislators who are from the CDC. And most of them were elected.
Yeah,
you know,
I think CDC got more.
I think CDC got more. Yeah.
In the house now, right?
Absolutely. If CDC would behave, if CDC would behave and they filibustered all over the agenda of Boakai for 6 years, I don't know as to how the people are going to feel, because we know about filibustering in America here. But on the other side, when you see the CDC coming in and try to filibuster and not do what the people want when the agenda of the executive need to be addressed and need to be passed, definitely the people may see the other way around. But there will be a lot of fighting. I mean, a lot of fighting on both sides of the aisle. We need a lot of outreach. A lot of outreach on both sides of the aisle, because people want to be represented and people want to maintain their position. That's what I see.
Let me stop you a little bit. If you say it's going to be robust, if they are, I'm just giving hypothetical. If Nyombli Kanga is pro-temp and Amara Kone,
She doesn't have the vote to be a pro-temp.
yeah, I'm just saying.
He said hypothetical. Let's go. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's hypothetical. If Nyombli Kanga is pro-temp and not Amara Kone, but who is the legislator? I mean, for the lower level for Unity Party, who is seeking to be there's a who was seeking to be speaker. Yeah, Kova wants to be, Musa Bedede wants to be. Yeah. Thomas Fala. But if a Unity Party person becomes a speaker and a Unity Party supporter or sympathizer become a pro-temp, are we not going to see a repeat of the WIA administration where both houses were more sympathetic to the administration? And
we'll see a repeat. We'll see a repeat. We're definitely going to see a repeat. I know. Yeah, we will see a repeat, and we see a lot of things going on to stall the Unity Party from moving forward with anything that will be tangible for the people. You know, because that's part of the fact that George, we are considered. There are other folks from the CDC who are very, very, very mad. They are in the national legislature now. They were elected, and they are going in there to stall a lot of things in the Unity Party favor. So I mean, you will see opposition. You will see clear, open discussion, but a lot of the agenda of the Unity Party.
Anthony, I'll come to you. You're going to answer. Do we see a Yeke Koluba cousin Joseph Boakai?
No. Yeke Koluba will not call Joseph Boakai. Yeke Koluba will want for things to be done in his constituency. He would not cause Joseph Boakai, but there will be someone who will emerge that will want to cause.
Our politics now people can cause man before you can be right.
I mean, it's so sad, you know.
Actually, before I come to you, let me read a few comments. Sonny say, I'm not saying you guys are inferior. I meant that how some of you think about one another, Mr. Jeru, and coming from Prince Double say Queenable District does not do 2 terms. Eh, my friend. Okay, let's see. We'll see what Tomo Yaya will not make 2 terms. We'll see.
Tomo Yaya can make his presence felt. Tomo Yaya can make his presence felt in the national legislature. The man was a leader.
I hope so, because
he's very intelligent guy. I respect that guy. You know, he can make his presence felt.
I can tell you for a fact, he will not be pushed around.
He can make his presence felt. The man took his time. The man took his time before even attempting to run to be a senator. He took his time. All along.
He lost twice. He lost Boakai twice too.
Yeah, so, well, of course. That's what I'm saying.
This is the vote that you receive.
You see, you gotta go after my.
They receive the highest vote in the country.
So let's say, Anthony,
you
guys are misinterpreting my comments. I'm telling you how some of y'all regard one another. Who are some of those pointing out you guys as former rebels? Is it not your own people? Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. Like Grangians pointing finger at Grangians. I don't really see that in the Grangian community, but
no. Because we
that's the process of the
law you need, Bullet and Yaya. So that's what he meant.
Okay, and then let me go to Louis Delay. Say it's very simple. We are educated. We know right from wrong. Say let's say Arthur is now in agreement with my comment that Anthony is trying to.
That man is there for us,
Oh man, that man. We'll bring Sally Sonny here one day so we can see what happened. And he said, Mr. Gerald, you need to read my clarity. Oh, okay. And I think see him, man. He said it's Arthur in Morovia currently. It will be business as usual. The CDC will be anti to the government, and they will push back. in the
Well,
end,
he talking to me?
all get the same benefits and salary.
Is he talking
No,
about me?
he was. I think that comment is referring to what legislature are we going to
Yeah,
see?
yeah. What legislator do we see? Okay,
Yeah.
Anthony, give it a shot. Let me see. What do you think? What
So
legislator are we looking at?
here's what I see. Right. I want to start from the legislative part of it. Many of them now they will not be, a participant just to collect salary. You heard, I think a few days ago, Zopen trying to make a point and blah blah blah. You want to be seen now as a guy. Mama, it's after 18 years. When did you realize that, right? So, but here's the thing. Because many of them, with the resignation of Vanny Sherman's speech, right? That speech he gave, that they didn't do well with the confection of snow, that they've been breaking bread on the other side, blah blah blah. Those kind of terminology we start hearing, they have gotten the wake-up call that is no longer business as usual. Thank God to Facebook Live since 2016, when Facebook had the live option that you can go live and people can see content, because we Liberians, we're not good at reading things. When you write anything past one paragraph, somebody just came to the many times I post stuff, so now I add my photo for it to be my intellectual property. They come and comment my photo, but the thing that the article that I was written was never read, right? So, but when you have a podcast, what an ordinary person can understand what has happened and relay that podcast to another person, have given the Liberian public. Since we don't have a national television station, when I said people can say we have one. What does the station need? How far does it reach? I don't know about it, right? So tell me the name and how far I can reach. We don't have a national television station. So Facebook is our TV, thanks to Mark Zuckerberg, right? The Spoon Network you bragging on today, that without Facebook, Spoon Network will not be as big as it is. That's Facebook. So that is the thing. And this new administration will be more scrutinized than the we are administration, because we are administration, many people didn't take Facebook Live serious. But when time went by and they start seeing things, now everybody now is a journalist in the street by themselves. Whether the information is set or not, they are automatically a journalist on their own, right? That is where individual like the Mr. Jeru, who have been a trained journalist, can counterclaim and hold other people accountable, all other different things, because our nation right now is divided. Now, let's come to the reality. What kind of legislature we're going to find? Today, as we speak, CDC won 25 seats. They are in control of 25 representative seats in the House of Representatives. United Party have 10. It's the second highest group. CPP has 6, and the rest of the other people, 1 year, 2 year, 3, right? Now, in the Senate, CDC also leading the Senate as well. So in both houses, CDC have more votes, because many other people, including Simeon Taylor, who ran on the CPP ticket in 2020, and then a week later switched over to the CDC, right? Because CPP gained 6 seats in that 2020 midterm, and then a week later, Simeon Taylor flipped over to the CDC. So then we have
CPP lawmakers will definitely be opposition, and they will not go to JMB.
It depends. I don't know how they're gonna go, right?
It depends. Yeah, it depends.
It depends how things are. But here's what I'm gonna see right now. 2 things.
A lot of caucus.
Many lawmaker in the legislature now, with the 55th legislature that will take office in January, will be seated the second Monday in January. Once they are seated, they will now have the responsibility of the government for the next 6 years. Those guys, the men and women, will not be as the same as the past legislature. Why? Because what has happened? All the veteran lawmakers, most of them are gone back, with the exception of Prince Johnson and very few that came back. Most of them are gone back. The Churchill, the Buffer Chimo, the rest of all of them, the sea wave took them, right? So right now they will be as careful as possible. And this new batch also, many of them by far have been politically involved in the Liberian politics and have been outspoken as well. The likes of Musa Bello not be there, be quiet, right? Amara Kone will not be down there. People will not hear about what he's doing. You see, he's very engaging. He just took over the Unity Party stuff, and he's just moving and moving. This guy want to be Senate Pro Tem. Whether you like it or not, there's going to be a fight for this position. Right now, even though the Unity Party have anointed Yomdi Kanga Lauren that they were going to give up the Senate Pro Tem shit, guess what?
How are they going to do it? How are they going to do it?
That's why I'm speaking to them. You don't have to vote. This is how Kali going to vote. In my opinion, I would argue that Darius Delon is more politically savvy than Yomdi Kanga Lawrence. All right? Darius Delon have made a lot of things happen in the Senate than Yomdi Kanga Lawrence. That is only if he doesn't want that position, but who would be a better fit to push the agenda than DeLong? I think DeLong can rally the votes for him to become a Senate Pro Tem if he wants.
Yeah, the man play activate role. He can't
right? But if a person that American wants it, he can do it. He can walk the walk, talk the talk, speak the lingo, make the adaptability, do the networking, lobby, and get this job done. Young Mikanga Lauren does not have the money that American has. American also have the diaspora support that Young Mikanga Lauren does not have. American have inserted himself and said, listen, even though I didn't deliver a county, but I delivered the whole Unity Party electoral process. The argument has started already. Some are calling him just come. This is the man who had 3 government ministerial positions. 3 ministerial positions in the government, I mean. Not 3 government, but 3 ministerial positions within the government, in the alien government. This is the man who is not an elected senator. This is the man who took over the campaign and created a war. And you know, going commercial.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So this is a circumstance within the Unity Party. Amara Kone is on a mission. And so now, but CDC also can maintain that position.
CDC stands in a unique spot.
CDC can keep both House and Senate in their
They can keep both houses
because they have the
Joseph administration so hard that Joseph Boakai will have to pay here to them because
I think CDC
maintain that position, and CDC can win the speakership if they want because they have the
out of 75 now, right? The lawmaker is 75 now, right?
Yeah.
Out of 75, CDC is boasting of 25, so there are 50 left. These 50, there are some CPP people there, and there are some independents there who will be leaning on CDC side.
No, so I got a 50.
75 lawmakers. 75
lawmaker. Right?
Yes.
Okay, if everybody takes a seat, it's 103.
Yes.
Right now,
I'm not talking about the Senate. I'm not talking about the Senate. The Senate is.
You're talking about. Okay,
yeah. They're the representative. So CDC got 25 in the rep.
They get 25 that are registered CDC. However,
they registered CDC.
They also have 15 who are independent who lean CDC.
Yes.
And I can go
let's put CDC at 30, 35.
CDC got a speakership.
So we have 40 lawmakers still who are CPP and Unity Party.
Now remember that a politics has to be played. CPP as an institution
will go opposition.
Endorse CDC. So if politics should be played, those guys now will go the CDC way to maintain because whoever has the speakership,
I don't see the chance
that I put on the floor.
I don't see the chance that most CPP people will go join Unity Party because they will want to remain in the opposition to make that.
But one of the reasons why the decision was made for them to endorse the CDC was because of those same guys that were pushing the thing from the backside and saying, like, our vote want to go to CDC. We want to go this direction. This is the direction we want to go, right? That's what they were saying, that the direction they wanted to go. And since that direction was granted, those lawmakers, the CPP lawmakers now, will go the CDC way. So CDC have the edge. CDC also have a candidate that can rally support. if they put Musa Belete forward, he can rally support, he can get there.
Musa Belete, you know, all looking Musa Belete, eh?
No, Musa Belete is a powerhouse. Musa Belete is a powerhouse. But I think Fanati Kofa too.
No, Fanati Kofa will not make it.
He doesn't have money, my brother. The house.
What's the reason you think Fanati Kofa can make it?
You must have money to be able to facilitate your colleagues.
Let's leave the money factor out, right? Fanati Kofa may have been a lawmaker who got re-elected, right? But Fanati Kofa has a tainted character when it comes to ethics, rules, and principle, you know, ethical principle and moral value. Yes, the man that was convicted in this country went to jail.
My dear brother, we shouldn't go.
Anthony, if you want a Labrador to love you, commit tomorrow morning.
No. For those who
don't want to commit crime, we are a victim of their action. They think that we are nothing. The people who committed crime in Liberia are the ones that are more popular. Look at Prince Johnson. Look at all the guys. All the people that are tinted character, they get all the best support. But that's for another day. So
Fanati Kofa can make a best speaker. He can make a best speaker.
Okay. How can he make a best speaker in the last 6 years? What one singular bill has he introduced?
I would not go to the singular bill that he introduced, but he's a guy who reached out.
There are three.
He's a guy who reaches out to members. If you can recall, even the Yeke Koluba, you can recall when Yeke Koluba one time he was causing some trouble in the house. It was Fanati Kofa. Who talked to Yeke, and Yeke listened to Fanati Kofa a lot, and calm him down. He's a guy who reached out. He's a guy who reached out to his friends, his colleagues, to make sure that things get done in the national legislature. That's Fanati Kofa. He has the expertise. He has the experience.
What expertise he has?
The man's a lawyer. The man served in opposition. The man served in opposition for some time.
Co-host for a moment. So based on what you just said, because we got a lot of followers, right, that are listening and that are going to come to this show later on.
Right.
With his legal background, the house rectify and sign Itu and Iboma loan. With his legal background, the house signed a $65 million loan that has to be paid by 2073 in 50 years' time, with the huge interest rate of 29.6%. What are we getting into this mess when we have a legal mind?
Is it when a piece of legislation is passed for a particular reason, the speaker or the deputy speaker or the leaders of the various committee, they go to work and reach out to other opposition who are in there and come to the table. It's a place
what I'm asking. He has a legal mind. He's supposed to guide the other people who does not understand it.
But you are in a recalcitrant. You are in a recalcitrant and greedy area.
That does not exist.
You are in a recalcitrant area. You are in an environment where greed or surpasses the people's interest. And if you reach out to gain,
you spoke to the man.
The man doesn't use the media to solve problems. He's a guy who uses his legislative outreach to his colleagues to make sure that things get done.
Read about his expertise or his skill set, right? We're not talking about the environment where he works. We are talking about what skill set he brings to the table.
The man's a lawyer. That's political. A lot of political things went on in the national legislature there that some of us we don't agree with. But I think Bonachi will make a best speaker.
I have to insert myself here. Mr. Fanati Kofa I know. I remember. I wrote a lot of stories about his case when he was on trial, when he was arrested on trial. This is man who took people money for housing, etc., etc., thousands of dollars, and he was convicted
Of fraud.
of fraud, and he went to Liberia. He was with this guy Charles Bronski, and then later on he and Charles Bronski put him aside because of that record, and then he managed to win the House position. I mean, I don't see.
I mean, why is the difference between Fonate Kuka and the one that Gay is pushing with the Musa Bedede thing?
I want to speak to them, Mr. Doe. How can a man who is a lawyer, has never written a single law, and what is it? How does he speak? How does that speak to his experience?
The man, as far as I'm concerned, we have not, you and myself, we have not read most of the things that the man had done in the national legislature. He's a man who doesn't use the media, as I said earlier. He doesn't use the media to boast of some of the things that he did in the national legislature. Pardon me?
Okay, let's move away from
we do speculate. We don't want to speculate here. We don't want to speculate here. We do follow research. We do follow research to come out and defend the man. We do follow research to come out and defend the man.
Tomorrow we are discussing the seats tomorrow. They represented the speaker and the protest seat tomorrow.
Okay.
Akash is going to be here tomorrow, so Akash will give us an idea of what it looks like to lobby and get something going down there.
I'm glad you invited him.
A few comments here. Prince Double says, "Is Bility a clean man company?" And illegality is not expediency in the eyes of lawmakers. And Prince said, "There's no difference between the two guys." Oh, are you kidding me? And Simon said, Mr. Jeru, the CDC and CPP will collaborate to make the UP unpopular. That will be the order of the day. Support my interest, and I will support your interest, the common opposition UP. So this is the question that all of you got to address. Are we expecting a smooth sail Boakai administration, or are we expecting a rough sail Boakai administration? Anthony, go.
It depends. It is in the purview of President-elect Boakai to set the tone. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
He can come in and set the tone. Right now, you and I will only speculate. We don't know which direction the wind gonna blow. We can only speculate. We can only sit here and say things that we think, that we feel. It will only be our opinion. We don't have no fact. It will not be a speculative thought, right? But I can tell you, he's the one that has the gavel in his hand now. He can set the tone and set Liberia on the pathway that everybody have been yearning for, or fall flat on his face that Josh we are dead. Again, he has the gavel. He has some things that will work in your favor and something that will not work in your favor. When he comes into office, day one, how his inaugural speech going to go, the first week of operation, second week of operation, if people start seeing something that is forming to be good, people will start, giving the prop. But it starts from the inaugural speech to the first day of work, to the last day of the first week, to the beginning of the second week, and so on and so forth. Again, we have this platform. We will come here and we'll start, giving you the prop what prop is due, holding you accountable. If you operate like the former opposition for the last 6 years, who was just mute without saying anything and say, "Oh, but he's a wise man. He don't speak because he doesn't want to speak." Trust me, he will have a hard time. His administration has to be very engaging. The communication process have to be on top of things. People should not speculate that the government They should provide the information when necessary. They have ERBC, the state radio, they have Spoon Network, that is that place. If they start doing propaganda, unnecessary propaganda, instead of, if they start acting as opposition instead of the ruling party,
Right. That's a great point
so
there.
he has the gavel in here. He can set the tone. The way
Thank you
you
very
raise
much.
the song, the backup team will answer the song that way. If the lead vocalist raise the song without welcoming tune, it gives everyone the courage to want to sing. And the
Thank you very much,
instrumentalist, everyone gets
Mr. Doe.
synchronized together.
Thank you very much. That's a great point you raised, Anthony. Mr. Doe, are we expecting a smooth sailing Boakai administration, or do we expect a rough sailing Boakai administration?
I'm yet I'm yet to look at to see a car that was smoothly ride the roads, the highway in 100 days.
Oh, you're talking about the promises, right?
Yeah, that's a steep climb, man.
You know when you are not in, when you are outside, you see a lot.
No, let's come back. I mean, can you a big promise like that, Mr. Doe? A big promise like that in 90 days? The Southeast Road be paved? Is it possible?
When you are outside, you see a lot. But when you are inside and get a lot of people around you, you don't see, what's going on in Sino County, in Grand Creek County, in even in Lofa County, the various districts you don't see in there. But Boakai will not have a smooth ride. He will not have a smooth ride for the fact that it is politics. He already danced with the devil, and the devil will be demanding certain positions as we are reading. He has his own circle, and the Unity Party has its own circle. As I said earlier, he got to be addressing that. And on a serious note, the national legislature, as I said, it will be a very, very tough place where when the people money, the people money will be accounted for. You have new guys who have gone in there, and you have CDC now, who will be the largest opposition. Who is the largest opposition will be in the national legislature, and most of the things that will not
largest opposition, absolutely.
Yeah, and most of the things that will not just fly by. It will not just fly by. It will take a lot of outreach by the Unity Party.
So I'm coming to your final comments. Let me just say, based on my own prognosis, looking at the contending interest, looking at the demands coming from Prince Johnson, looking at what will happen later if Jeremiah Koung become president, looking at the kind of Enoch cycle that Joseph Boakai is going to have. My good friend and brother, Eric Jesso, had something to say. What kind of country we are living in so? Okay, that's it. What kind of life we live here? So where every good man is vilified. Look, I'd like to discuss the communist thing. I think we can do that Saturday. Let's do Saturday. Then we'll be, ourselves. We'll make sure that we'll bring other people. In fact, I want to bring more. If you get more people from the communist side, I wanted to come because I want to really hear from them what their thought is about the way people talk about communists. I'm one person who have been very mad about the way people talk about communists. He was even my second choice in Togonglo. I don't think he would have been I think he would have been a better manager than George Weah and Boakai put together. But we're going to talk about that Sunday, and I'm going to say exactly how I feel the way people vilify communists. We're going to look at all the facets. Let me get your final comments, and starting with Mr. Doe and then Anthony.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jerome. I think the conversation tonight was great, and your analysis in terms of ascendancy, constitutional ascendancy to power, where power can shift You know, when as the country go far and a Boakai, in terms of his incapacitation, if anything happens, you know, when where Jeremiah will be cutting the shot, you know, I think that analysis was well in place. Will Johnson will really push for what he wants because he's a guy, he's a power player, and he been around for quite some time in the national legislature. He been there for quite some time. He know what's going on in there. What President doesn't want now is just morning to satisfy his people. And the question here is, can the people from Grand Leader do the same thing? I don't think so. You know. So Boakai will get a tough time, and the national legislature will be a robust area, be an area that will not be a no-go zone. People will really put the people's business forward to make sure that they address the people's problem. And as we continue to discuss these things, it's very genuine to the exercises or the activities of our country. We in the diaspora, we should be engaged. And I pray that more people will come on the show to express themselves in terms of how we can move forward, how we can move the country forward, how the diaspora. My concern now is the diaspora involvement, this other country voting for the diaspora. And come 2029, we should be voting in America. That's my concern now. I see. I thank you for the show, Mr. Jeru. Please keep it up. 2 years is too long to be away, bro. You gotta come back.
Yeah, tomorrow again, 4 o'clock, until we can find a suitable time. We'll do it 4 o'clock Central Time, which is 5 p.m. Let me go to Anthony. Anthony, your closing.
Thank you, Mr. Jerry. And yes, I'm glad you were back on air. Listen, we need to have a radio station that can relay our program in Monrovia and the rest of the parts of the country. Liaise with Mr. Doba so we can use the station to engage the county.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The voice of Jida down there in those our people also can have access to that. But listen, man, since you talk about coming, I want to segue to him and with this. The part of the reason why we went the way we went, my own personal observation, and I'm not speaking for the party right now, is that we did not market Mr. Cummings the way we were supposed to have marketed him. Our communication team was dead. We did not communicate the way we were supposed to communicate, educate the ordinary voters of Liberia what Cummings brings to the table, who Cummings is, and what the importance it is to vote for Cummings, somebody of his caliber, what he was able to accomplish. All people know Coca-Cola. How does Coca-Cola relate to the man who did not eat yesterday? Right? How does it relate to the ordinary man who never crossed Sesto River to go to Monrovia, who whole life was being in the southeast or somewhere beyond the Sesto River, never came to town, right? We never saw his Liberian story. A man who spent half his life in Liberia, graduated from high school and went to 2-year college in Liberia. Before leaving Liberia, spent 4 years in college here in America, right? So all people see that this stranger, but he was this ordinary guy who mother used to sell in the market, right? Who used to go collect a mother, on debt from other people before the term pay were introduced. His mother used to do that, right? But people never understood that. They thought that he came from a privileged background. If he came from a privileged background, how mom would be selling in the market, But again, people don't understand all of these things. The man ate noodles on college campus here in America. When you eating noodles, that means you're struggling. When you go to college in America, you eat noodles, you're struggling. Your parents don't have money. That's why you buy noodles. You can't afford burger, right? So these things people don't understand, right? I heard wife talking about, when they got that first apartment, they could not even, have all of the things that they wanted in their apartment. They had to save up to buy some of the things they even put in their very first apartment. From his wife talking about because they met in college. But people don't know these things. They see the man today because he's successful, so they thought that he was born with silver power. So that's the opportunity some of us want to give the Liberian people, but because I think our team did not do a better job selling him from a man who came from a marketing perspective, because Coca-Cola, all to do is market. So I think we need to do that better.
Thank you very much, Jeremy, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm trying to make contact with Luscious Store to see if he can be with us on Saturday. And anybody who has a Cummings number, you can please pass him my way to see if we can bring Mr. Cummings. I want to see Cummings' outlook of the vote process, because he came with 7 point last time, and this time he didn't reach that level. what went wrong? What did he think went wrong? Did he make some bad decisions? Did he make some good decisions? Was there anything that he needed to correct next time? Does he still have intention to even run?
I don't think right now is a good time to bring it on. Let is sink in. That everything sink in. Give him about 2 months, 3 months.
We'll try the number.
We have to wait for the inauguration. Then everybody will have a better view. People like Luscious too can come on. Yeah, to come in. Saturday, if you have anybody who is willing from the comments camp, I want to come on, let me know so I can send the link and for them to come. We can be up to 10, no problem. But Mr. Doe, I wish to see you here tomorrow, 4 o'clock or 5 Eastern.
No problem. Absolutely.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Prince, talking about Anthony Gay comments, baby.
Okay, so that was a great one today. Starting after 2 years of suspension of the platform, we didn't even reach live 30 or we were stopped to 28 vote view today. I mean, I'm impressed because I was not even expecting 10 people to watch today. But you know, tenacity is the key. Once we come here every day and discuss relevant issues, and now listen, guys, you may not see certain kind of people here because as a journalist, I will try to keep it in the middle there. Some people don't like in the middle thing. Some people like one side, you get bombarded, another side, and then they like it that way. But it's not going to be here like that. I'm going to facilitate the process, and I will actually be the journalist that I am. I'm not going to be like seditions and I get bombarding, just about bombarding. I don't get time for rationalizing anything, thinking about no, I'm not going to do that. So some people don't like it. They like for you to be one side and just bombard. And listen, the way we want to do it here is to educate people. And education is the key. Because our people have voted the way they have voted all the time. Until we can educate people, we will not move a needle. And so we'll be here tomorrow. I'm trying to get in contact with Saturday. It's a special edition strictly focusing on ANC. We want to see what happened to the ANC. What do they see, the Liberian people, what their perception about ANC? Is it wrong? Is it right? What happened? Why are people behaving the way they behave about Cummings? And then as time goes by, we'll bring some of the political. I want to make sure that everybody can come here. Even Jeremiah Koung say I'm a travelist, even though he's wrong, dead wrong. But I want to see that Jeremiah Koung can come on this platform and he feel like he protected and he can expound the issues and we can discuss the issue and not being disrespected. You know, you guys know me already. I'm not going to be disrespectful on my show when I bring my guests, you know. In other places, that's why I like to be guest or panelist on other show. Because I'm on other show, I can be much tougher than when I'm on my own show because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be tough for no reason on my own show. But I'm going to be respectful and I'm going to say thank you, Jeremy. Make sure that you'll be here tomorrow, 4 o'clock Central Time, and Eastern Time will be 5 o'clock. Thank you very much for coming, and let's do this.
Yeah. Munega above Aevo Jesus. Money finit go. Your money finit go. Your money finit go. Your money finit go. Aevo. Your money finit go. Money finit go away. Your money finit go away. Your money finit go away. Oh yeah. Muliakwe mubayo. Muliakwe mubayo. Muliakwe mujayo. Muliakwe mujayo. Ay, baba la mufaya. La guerrero, papa la mufanya. La rapeo, la mola mufanya. La guerrero, Your money finna go